We're going to look at distributive property and what that means. If you look at this first little example up here, so there's an A outside of the parentheses and a B plus C inside. Normally we think of PEMDAS, we think of do the parentheses first, but what's going to happen is we're going to see parentheses that have variables in there, so we can't do the operation because we don't know what the variable is yet. So the A on the outside of the parentheses is being multiplied with everything inside the parentheses. So when they did A times B, they end up with AB plus whatever A times C is, and that's where the AC came from. So let's look at number 10. So we're going to do 8 times T, which is just 8T, which we know from writing expressions. And then we're going to add the answer to 8 times 4, 32. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 4 times x, which is 4x. And 2 times 3a is 6a, plus 2 times 1 is 2. Now you don't have to keep making the little lines across the parentheses like I am doing. I'm just showing what I'm, just so you can see what I'm doing. So now we've got some subtraction signs. So as I say this, I'm going to be changing those minus signs or subtraction signs to negatives as I say them out loud, because I want you to start thinking of these numbers with the sign in front of them as positives and negatives. So I'm doing positive 5 times positive 3y, which is 15y. And then I'm doing a positive 5 times a negative 2. Positive times a negative is always negative. So it's negative 10. So if you need to remind yourself about multiplying and dividing negatives, there you go. So if you're the first 2 rows of that tic-tac-toe show that opposite signs are always going to come out negative when we're multiplying. Same sign is going to come out positive. All right, so 8 times 7 is 56. And then you do 8 times negative 2w, so negative 16w. And 10 times 9g, 90g. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. So 90g minus 30. Again, I'm interchanging those words. Okay, so now we're going to look at combining like terms after we get rid of the parentheses. So you're still wanting to get rid of the P first, just like in order of operations. So we're going to do the distributive property first. So we're going to ignore the 2x and just do the multiplication. So 7 times x plus 7 times 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and just copy plus 2x after it. And then we combine like terms. So 7x plus 2x. And then there's nothing to combine with the 42. So this is our final simplified answer. So again, we're simplifying. The next one, you have 2 times a and 2 times negative 4. Copy the plus 10 after it. When we go to combine like terms, I have a negative 8 and a positive 10. So I'm going to subtract since they're opposite signs. Keep the sign of the higher number. So we're left with 2a plus 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 is bigger than 8, so it's positive. Next one, 5 times 2w is 10w. 5 times positive 3 is positive 15. Now I'm going to copy the rest of the terms. And then we're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to start with my w's, and I'm going to include the signs in front. So I'm going to include that negative with the 7w. So I'm doing positive 10w and negative 7w. Since 10 is bigger, it's going to be a positive 3w. And then my constants, I have positive 15, positive 2. So when I combine those, I have a positive 17. All right, 9 times 3. 9 times negative 2a, so negative 18a. Copy the plus 4a. And be careful combining on this one. We have a negative 18a and a positive 4a. So I'm going to subtract since they're different signs. And when I keep the sign of the higher number, it's negative because 18 is bigger than 4. So 27 is going to stay positive 27. There's nothing to combine with it. And then we have a negative 14a. So again, interchanging 27 minus 14a. I called it negative 14a. It turns into 27 minus 14a. Same thing. All right, so last one, let's do the parentheses first. So 8 times x. 8 times negative 3, and it is a positive 8 because there's a plus sign in front of it. So positive times negative again. And then I'm just going to copy down the things in front of it. So we still have 6x over here. I'm going to bring that plus sign down so it says positive. And then plus 20 is out here. And let's combine the positive 6x and positive 8x becomes positive 14x. And be careful on this one. We have a negative 24 combined with a positive 20. So different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the higher number. So it should get a negative 4. I do want to add one thing. Let's look at one more example. 10 minus 2, parentheses, 3a plus 5 plus 9a. Okay, when you go to distribute, not only when you're combining, but when you go to distribute, that 2, you have to look at it as a negative 2. So when you go to multiply, you want to make sure you're doing negative 2 times positive 3a, which is negative 6a. And then you want to make sure you're doing a negative 2 times a positive 5, which is negative 10. Now, when I bring down the other things, that positive 10, that's already there in the original expression, just goes in front of the negative 6a. And the plus 9a is going to go out here after the negative 10 or minus 10. And then you're ready to combine like terms. So if I do the a's first, I have a negative 6a and a positive 9a. So different signs, subtract, which would be 3. And then I'm going to keep the sign on the higher number, so it's going to stay positive 3a. Oh, look there. When I go to do my 10s, I got a positive 10 and a negative 10. Those combine to be 0. Different signs, subtract, which is 0. And so all we're left with is 3a. I'm going to let you try those last 2 on your own. Perimeter just means to add the 4 sides up, or the 3 sides if it's a triangle. So add all the sides. So don't forget that you've got some sides on here that are not labeled. So you want to label this side and label this side with the opposite sides and combine like terms.